All right, next up. Sogumm. Prescription. Now, judging from this thumbnail and the fact that this gentleman seems incredibly happy and he's got his hand over his chest and there's a glowing light under it, I'm going to guess there's a little bit of a story happening here. We're about to find out. This is from 3 years ago. Sogumm Prescription. Oh, do you recognize that cat right there? I think. I hope I'm right. I feel like I would know that face anywhere. This is such an interesting sound. Ooh, this is... let's see where they go with this.
인생의 쓴맛이 손끝까지 느껴질 때 도움을 요청할 사람은 쉽고 찾아봐도 없을 때 너의 사랑은 통해 양이 되고 우린 그냥 하던 거나 하면 돼 될 일은 알아서 돼 사랑 약이 되어줘 인생의 쓴맛이 손끝까지 느껴질 때 돈을 요청할 사람은 쉽고 찾아봐도 없을 때 너의 사랑을 통해 약이 되고 나는 그냥 하던 거나 하면 될 일은 알아서 돼 사랑 약이 되어줘
Kind of reminds me of Power Rangers, this little scene here. Oh yeah, nailed it. This might actually be better than Power Rangers. Okay, let's see here. Omega Sapien, there he is. Sanyon, Sogumm. Okay, so in case you didn't catch it, what I was picking up on was This cat back here, right here, if you didn't notice, that is Omega Sapien from Bombing Tiger. So Sogumm is also part of the Bombing Tiger collective. And remember, I learned this. It took me forever to learn this. But Bombing Tiger isn't just the three cats from Sexy New Kim, which is where I started with them. I thought it was BJ, Omega, and Mud. But no, it's a collective of anywhere from 9 to 12 people, and then it's been spread over years, so there's been a whole bunch of people. So here's my thought on this. This feels like, this is interesting. I feel like Bombing Tiger, if you have a fine line of structure on one side and chaos on the other, Bombing Tiger tends to sit right on that line, and then sometimes they kind of tilt into the chaos. Like, perfect example. Sexy New Kim is cool. It's a little weird, but it's cool. It works. It's got style. But then I think it was it SOS, which felt chaotic. I don't think it was SOS. There was another one. That just felt chaotic. I remember saying it felt like somebody had a hand camera and they just ran around getting shots, and that's all it was. And that was too much chaos. It didn't complement the song. Now, this one, we start off with this family portrait, perfect scene. Everything is put together and lovely. Now, when the song comes in, the song it has like this very strange, trippy, almost kind of haunting vibe. So the contrast between the song and the visuals is really interesting. And I'm like, whoa. So if I'm hearing this and it makes me feel a certain way, why isn't that resolved with the visuals? What's different? And it kind of makes you go, something's gonna happen. What's coming? Which is true. But then when we get to the point where something happens, it just goes way into the chaos. Yeah, like the sound almost feels like a memory to me. It sounds like a sad memory, or like, yeah. Now, I will also pause this moment to say, I think that the choices made here are very specific and very deliberate. It's not like somebody was trying to do something different and this is just what happened. No, this is exactly what they were going for. So even watching like the kind of awkward smiles that make you feel a little uneasy, that is planned. That is specific. Like each shot is almost kind of meant to make you, what am I supposed to be looking at? Like, what does this mean? Like, you see how it feels chaotic? We went from that perfect family portrait scene, and now the kids are running around. It's starting to get a little crazy. You start to feel uneasy. 도움을 요청할 사람은 쉽고 찾아봐도 없을 때 너의 사랑은 통해 향이 되고 우린 그냥
하던 거나 하면 돼 될 일을
I will say this is probably also the difference between when you have a project that you potentially have like people funding and there's a whole bunch of people behind it, like a lot of expectations and a lot of calling a lot of the shots and no, don't do that, don't do this, and really trapping you into a box. It's a very different project. If I were to guess, with Balming Tiger, they probably get to call a lot more of their own shots. So when they do something like this, it's kind of intended as, oh, you know what we should do? Oh, kind of like our live streams. Yo, we should just squirt ketchup all over. That'd be so funny. Do it for the story. Some of these videos with them kind of feel like that. And it's part of their brand and it makes sense to me. I mean, would I have made these choices? No. But for their brand, it makes sense.
알아서 돼 사랑 약이 되어줘 쓰라고 했지 않을게요 사랑 약이 되어줘.
Ooh, man. I think I just had an idea. She worked for a soundtrack making company, quit, went on SoundCloud, and later joined Balming Tiger. It's almost like they used to be a happy family and she's remembering it at the start, and then the sound comes in a lot more clear, and it's present time where everything has gone into chaos and is just going wrong, so maybe they need prescription drugs to feel better. Yeah, and that's kind of what they're going through with this little piece here, with the medicine. Very, very eccentric. Again, deliberate eccentric. Because I tell you, I will always go back to the sound of this song has some power to it. It's very atmospheric, the way it's put together. And when you have something that's that layered with that much space around it, you can really put somebody somewhere in a very nostalgic way. Make them feel something. Now, nostalgia doesn't hit everybody the way that it hits some of us. For me, it's like a drug. I have to be very careful with how I approach nostalgia. But this sound feels like that. And I think a lot of you are picking up on that too, because you say like, it feels like she's remembering something, or there's a memory there. I think it's kind of a pattern. There was just this one moment where Grandpa, I think it was the strange smile that I saw. Grandpa sitting on the couch with the kids. And then we have this moment, the family having fun. You know what would have been kind of crazy is this was the idea that hit me. Based on the sound of the song and also the prescription and some of the lyrics. Imagine this being, I'll say it's a one shot. Let me go back to the very beginning. This is the room. Grandpa. Ooh, this is gonna be, it's almost too hard. Say you put Grandpa and Grandma back on the couch in front of the window with the dog. Center screen, we are on the other side of the house. So they're across the house, center screen on the couch, boom, straight up. And the camera, as the sound starts of the song, it's a very slow push in. It's just them. The light coming through the windows. It feels like a perfect day. And they're sitting there as proper as can be, as if they're getting their picture taken. Slow. So you kind of get this like strange vibe. Like it's a little haunting. But then as the song progresses, we see somebody come in and then somebody else comes in. And as the camera is still pushing in on Grammy and Pop Pop, there's more chaos happening on the screen, but it's the family. And it gets a little bit more crazy. You might even have a real smooth sleight of hand where you're kind of watching, you know, people like grow up through the movement. And eventually we get to a point where we are directly at Grammy and Pop Pop, close in, like a picture. And we see the awkward smiles, but eventually we start to pull back. Okay. Now we expect when we start to pull back, it's going to be the chaos again. But what ends up happening is the moving in the first 75% of the video is essentially them remembering the nostalgia of what it was like to have a full house with the family. That's their memory. That's their nostalgia. That is their prescription for loneliness, for empty nest. When we eventually pull back in that last chunk of the song, it almost is, it's lonely. There's nothing out of place. It's as if it never happened. That, as heavy as that is, that would make me end this video and go, oh, bro, what? If that's what your goal is, it would work. Probably not the goal, though. Especially with this vibe and the ending of the song, it almost feels a little twisted. Ooh, interesting. Ooh, that might be a little too sad even for me. Yikes. Man. So as always, there's more than one way to put this all together. Oh, man. And they even kind of end on a happy vibe. My idea does not. Yeah. Sideways. Now, you could reverse it, though. Probably require a different song, though. The push-in is very grim and sad, almost a little desaturated, kind of gray. But then as it starts to come out, it's the memories of the family. And that's their joy. Ooh, interesting. Huh. Wow. Whew. I gotta step out of that one a little bit. Yikes.